Robbie here from CrossFit South Bend. Today we are going to talk about intermittent fasting. So, intermittent fasting is something that has recently come back into vogue. People talk about it a lot in connection with the ketogenic diet, bulletproof coffee, all this different type of stuff. What I find so interesting, at least to me, just like with something like the paleo diet, is that in a lot of ways this is something that's been going on for the vast majority of human history, and it's only recently that it's come back into vogue, but it's something that's gone on for a very long time and has a very interesting past. So today we're going to talk about what is intermittent fasting, who's it beneficial for, and then should you do it. So what is intermittent fasting? Well, there are lots of different varieties, but at the end of the day, really intermittent fasting just means exactly what the words mean. Intermittent meaning for a period of time, and then fasting, not eating anything. So not eating anything for a period of time. Now, there are lots of different types of intermittent fasting. A famous one that gets talked about a lot is restricting your eating window every day to 8 hours and then fasting for those other 16 hours. That's something that can be sustained much more long term. Another way to do this is, every month or 2 months, having a day where you just don't eat anything. People who are much more into the ketogenic intermittent fasting scene have been known to go for fasts for as long as 3 to 7 days, and then just drinking water or bone broth or something like that. Now, this has a lot of therapeutic benefits for people. So one of the things that's very beneficial is it allows your digestive system to take a break for a period of time. Again, throughout human history, this is something that's been a regular feature until recently. We weren't getting this constant drip of glucose from all the foods that we eat today, historically speaking. Most religious traditions have it as a feature of their practices because it can increase mental clarity. It allows you to reflect and be grateful for the food that you have. But it's something that was regularly practiced historically. So in addition to letting your digestive system heal and increasing mental clarity, what are the things that can it do? Well, one of the most important things it can do that's extremely beneficial is programmed cell death. Basically, when your body is constantly digesting, it doesn't get to go clean up stuff that shouldn't be there from a cellular perspective. And when you fast, what happens is your body and your immune system clear away the quote-unquote cellular debris, cancerous cells, other cells that have damaged components like mitochondria and things like that shouldn't be there anymore. And this is tremendously beneficial from a health perspective. So intermittent fasting can be really beneficial for people with blood sugar dysregulation, in certain instances, people with digestive issues, people with neurological conditions, and just actually in general for most people, assuming that their diet is on point, their sleep is on point, exercise, stress reduction, all of those things are on point. It's actually a very, very, very beneficial thing. And it's what's known as a hormetic stressor. What's a hormetic stressor? It's a stressor where when you get the right amount of it, you actually get a benefit. Working out is a hormetic stressor. Jumping into a cold lake or taking a cold shower is a hormetic stressor. All these things upregulate beneficial processes in the body, even though they're technically a stress. So, with that all in mind, should you do intermittent fasting? Well, in line with this idea we were just talking about of it being a stressor, it all depends on, what's your stress like? And do you have all those lifestyle ducks in a row that we were just talking about? If you're someone who has their diet in line, their sleep in line, sleeping 8 hours a night, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., not 2 a.m. to 10 a.m., is not over-exercising, and has a good stress reduction practice, then intermittent fasting, maybe as the 8-hour feeding window could be beneficial, maybe as the 1 day every month could be beneficial, and even further than that, if you're up for it, maybe 36 to 72 hours every quarter can be beneficial. Again, with that last one, always talking with a practitioner, talking with your doctor. I would not advise attempting that without being under the care of a practitioner. However, if you are someone whose diet is not in a good place, who has chronically poor sleep, 4 to 5 hours a night, or even 6 to 7, honestly, if you're chronically over-exercising, if you're the type A personality or weekend warrior who gets 6 hours a night of sleep and then wakes up in the morning to do CrossFit or endurance workouts, intermittent fasting probably is just going to be an extra stressor that could so to speak, break the camel's back, the straw that breaks the camel's back. And even if those things are in place, if you're someone who's chronically stressed because of your job or life or things like that, intermittent fasting can be that last little stressor that isn't so hot. So it really depends on the context and where all those other things are. But that being said, intermittent fasting can be beneficial for certain conditions, but you just want to be careful that if you are someone who has, a situation where these ducks aren't in a row, intermittent fasting is something that you maybe hold off on for a bit. All right, guys, I hope you have a sense of what intermittent fasting is, who it can be beneficial for, and whether you should do it or not. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.